I wasn't even supposed to be there. But when my cousin sent me the address with a text, I knew I had to show up. Curiosity? Maybe. Instinct? Absolutely. Something about the way my family smiled too wide when excluding me always meant they were hiding something. At the baby shower, pastel balloons drooped under the ceiling and cupcakes sparkled with edible pearls. My mom stood up, clinked her glass with a fork, and raised a gold-trimmed frame. "A gift from all of us," she announced. I leaned closer. It was the deed to my apartment. The one I bought, the one I paid off in full. My dad whispered in my ear, "You have 30 days to vacate." I smiled. 1 day is enough. They thought betrayal would break me. They didn't realize I rebuild better than they steal. I arrived late, on purpose. I wasn't supposed to come, after all. The baby shower was a closed guest list, not that anyone told me that directly. But when your family starts saying things like, "We didn't want you to feel pressured to attend," what they really mean is, "Don't come." My cousin Jonah had sent me the address anyway, followed by a quick, "Sorry, don't shoot the messenger." He's always been neutral territory, Switzerland in our family Cold War, so I showed up. The party was exactly what I expected. Pastel chaos wrapped in fake warmth, a balloon arch that kept collapsing, sugar coated everything, blue ribbons. A giant fondant cake that looked more like a centerpiece than food. My mother was glowing in that performative way she reserves for public gatherings. She always loved hosting events where she could perform being the perfect matriarch as long as someone else cleaned up afterward. I stood quietly near the back, gift in hand, a small silver rattle, engraved with the baby's initials. It wasn't expensive, but it had weight, meaning. That's when she stood up. Glass in one hand, fork in the other. Clink, clink. "Everyone, may I have your attention?" I already knew something was coming. Her voice had that syrupy tone, the one she used right before delivering a slap disguised as sentiment. She lifted a gold-trimmed frame from a nearby table. "This," she beamed, "is a gift from all of us. To the happy couple. The new baby." Polite gasps. Applause. My brother grinned. His girlfriend pretended to cry. I moved closer. I didn't plan to, it just happened. And there it was. Inside the frame, a property deed. My apartment. The one I bought in 2020. The one I spent 3 years paying off in full. At first, I didn't react. I just blinked. My dad leaned in beside me and whispered, low and slick like a used car salesman, "You have 30 days to vacate." That was when I smiled. Not bitter, not broken, just done. "1 day is enough," I whispered back. I walked up, took the frame out of my mother's hands, held it, read it. My name, still there, not yet erased. I looked around the room. My family didn't even look surprised. They looked pleased. I handed the frame back, nodded, and left. No scene, no screaming, no collapse, just a quiet exit. But by sunrise, a removal crew would be at the apartment. Cabinets gone. Fixtures gone. Flooring ripped. Even the washer-dryer I bought uninstalled, wheeled out, reclaimed. That night, at 6:41 p.m., my brother texted, "Is this a joke?" I replied, "Not yet, but tomorrow's delivery might be." The apartment was never meant to be shared. Not with family. Not with anyone. I bought it in 2020, a quiet 2-bedroom on the edge of downtown Portland. Nothing extravagant, just mine. It had light in the kitchen, old hardwood floors, and a laundry closet that barely fit the washer-dryer combo I saved up 6 months to buy. I didn't throw a housewarming party. I didn't post about it on social media. I didn't even tell my parents until after I'd signed the final papers. I knew what would happen if I did. And yet, somehow, it still happened. It started with a phone call. My brother, Aiden younger by 3 years, charming in the way people forgive too easily, said he and his girlfriend just needed a place for a few weeks. They were between leases, bad timing. The rental market was brutal, just until they found something else. Of course, I said. Because back then, I still said yes before I even considered no. They showed up with 2 duffel bags, a yoga mat, and a rescue cat named Denny. 1 month turned into 3, then 6, then 19. I never asked for rent. They offered to buy groceries sometimes. They did, sometimes. Most of the time, they didn't. I let it go. I told myself it was short-term. I told myself family meant flexibility. Then they started leaving things behind. First, It was a set of floating floorboards Aiden installed in the living room. Mid-range oak laminate, the kind that clicks into place like a jigsaw puzzle. He said it was an upgrade for all of us. He paid for it. I didn't argue. Then came the bookshelf, an IKEA hack with faux gold legs and a minimalist aesthetic, his girlfriend called it. She posted a time-lapse video on Instagram of him assembling it. The caption read, "Our place is finally coming together." I was behind the camera when she filmed it. Their language changed slowly after that. From, "Your apartment, our space." From, "Thanks for letting us stay. We love this home." From, "We're looking for a place," silence. They never declared it theirs. They just acted like it was. Their shoes by the door, their toothbrushes in my bathroom cup, their takeout boxes in my fridge, their mail in the hallway. And still I said nothing. I worked late. I kept to my corner of the apartment. I thought if I stayed silent, it would remain mine. I was wrong. The final shift came quietly. One night, I came home to find a note on the fridge, a joke about baby names scribbled in blue marker. I hadn't been told. I hadn't even suspected. I found out through Instagram. Her holding up a sonogram. Him flexing in the background like he'd just invented fatherhood. I texted, "Congratulations." He replied, "We should talk about making this more permanent." I never asked what that meant. But deep down, I already knew. 3 weeks after the ultrasound post, my mother called. Her tone was sweet, that kind of sweetness that leaves a bitter aftertaste. "We were wondering," she began, "if you'd ever consider gifting the apartment." I didn't answer right away. I thought maybe I misheard. "Not the whole thing, of course," she rushed to clarify. "Just symbolically, a gesture. They're starting a family, Morgan, and you're doing so well." Ah, there it was, the guilt-wrapped blade. I said no. She paused, then sighed like I had just disappointed humanity. "Well, it wouldn't kill you," she muttered. I hung up. I thought that was the end of it. It wasn't. 3 weeks before the baby shower, my brother scheduled a notary appointment using a fake email address, one with my name, but not my domain. The kind of thing you'd miss unless you were looking for it. My dad, ever the fixer, handled the logistics. My mom coordinated with a lawyer she knew through church. They submitted an old tax form I'd signed years ago, scanned and cropped to lift my signature. It wasn't even a good forgery, but it was just good enough. The property title was quietly reassigned without my knowledge, without my consent. It didn't even occur to them that I might find out, that I might notice. They'd spent so long assuming I was passive, obedient, silent, easy to corner and easier to dismiss. And the worst part? They thought I'd thank them, smile, clap, maybe even cry from gratitude when they held up that gold frame at the baby shower. They thought the public gesture would erase the private theft. I didn't react that night, not how they expected. I didn't shout or cry or tear the frame in half. That would have made them the victims. No, I stayed quiet, and I walked out. Because when people steal from you with a smile on their face and a champagne flute in hand, they're not just counting on your silence. They're betting on it. They forgot who they were dealing with. They forgot I've been keeping receipts since 2019. It started with a family fund, $500 a month to help cover our parents' mortgage while my dad recovered from surgery. Then $600 for my sister's rent, $200 for Uncle Ron's legal bills, $320 for my mom's dental work, $0 for roof repairs. I stopped keeping count, but my bank didn't. 4 years. Total family account transfers, $91,200. Apartment mortgage, taxes and fees, $112,000. Furniture and repairs, $9,300. Utilities and food, $6,700. Total personal investment, $219,200. Their contribution? 1 IKEA bookshelf, some laminate flooring, and a used blender from Aiden's girlfriend's mom. They didn't ask. They just acted. And now, so would I. I didn't yell. I didn't argue. I didn't even respond to the texts. I went home that night from the baby shower and opened my laptop. The apartment was dark. I kept it that way. The glow of the screen was all I needed. I logged into my bank. I pulled every transaction, every payment, every auto transfer, every invoice related to that apartment. I printed them out. Highlighted everything that came from me: the down payment, the property tax, the 342 repair for the garbage disposal my brother's girlfriend broke by stuffing avocado pits down it because, according to TikTok, that's fine. I labeled the folder, correction. No commentary, just facts. By 5:00 a.m., the building manager had unlocked the front door for a special maintenance crew. By 7:00 a.m., the removal team had arrived. By 9:30, the transformation was in full swing. Cabinets unscrewed. Fixtures boxed. Washer-dryer wheeled out. I didn't just take back what was mine. I removed what wasn't theirs. The crib? Gone. The bookshelf? Unassembled, wrapped, labeled. The IKEA dresser? Dismantled and taped. Even the wall decal that read, "Welcome, baby," was peeled off and trashed. Their floor, the laminate click-in they installed with such pride. I had it pulled up. Every plank. Every strip of underlayment. By noon, the apartment no longer looked like ours. It looked like mine again. At exactly 6:41 p.m., my brother texted, "Is this a joke?" I replied, "Not yet, but tomorrow's delivery might be." The next morning, right on cue, a moving truck pulled up outside the apartment complex. Not my apartment, not their apartment, just the space they tried to claim. The driver unloaded 64 flat-packed cardboard boxes. Each was labeled neatly, alphabetically, black font on matte white stickers. On the top box, a taped envelope. Inside it, a printed packing guide. And a checklist titled, "Everything You Brought." Box 1, baby clothes. Boxes 2-4, unrequested nursery decor. Box 5, shared toothbrush, still not mine. Boxes 6-11, excuses. Box 12, let's talk. Boxes 13-40, my silence. Boxes 41-62, entitlement. Box 63, the floor. Box 64, dignity. Beneath all that, in bold, "You have 30 days, but I thought I'd help you get started." I know they opened it by noon. The hallway camera caught it. My brother stepped back like the boxes were radioactive. His girlfriend stood behind him, clinging to her coffee mug, wrapped in the same robe she wore when she needed sympathy. He opened the top box, found it empty. She started crying. I watched the footage with the sound off. That evening, the flood began. "Brother, what is wrong with you?" "Mom, this isn't how family behaves." "Dad, you made your point. Enough." "Sister, are you okay, like, actually okay?" I didn't reply. Not to them. Not anymore. Instead, I attached the spreadsheet. Every item, every cost, every date. Subject line: apartment final numbers. At 4:17 p.m., my mother left me a voicemail. We never meant to take it. It was symbolic for the baby. I saved the file. Titled it, Symbolic MP3. This wasn't revenge. It was restoration. They made me invisible in a home I built. So I made them vanish from a space they never owned. I didn't threaten. Didn't beg. Didn't give them a story to twist. Just a truth too sharp to swallow. And a silence they could finally hear. They expected a meltdown. They were hoping for chaos. That way, they could play the victims, call me ungrateful, dramatic, emotional. But I gave them none of that. Only silence. The kind that doesn't come from weakness, but from precision. The kind you sharpen like a blade. My phone buzzed every few hours. Texts from my mother started out performative. "Family is everything. Let's talk." Then turned manipulative. "We gave you so much." Then desperate. "What are you trying to prove?" My dad went for guilt. "Let's not destroy the family over a misunderstanding." I ignored them all. Instead, I focused on logistics. I canceled every co-signed account. Bank access? Gone. Family phone plan? Disconnected. My sister's health insurance under my employer policy? Terminated effective last week. I notified the utility companies. Removed every name except mine. No screaming. No threats. Just signatures, PDFs, notarizations. I'd always been the responsible one. So I decided to treat them like adults. And that included consequences. 3 days later, I got a text from my mother. Come to dinner, just the 5 of us, no drama, just, let's fix this. I said yes. Not because I wanted reconciliation, but because some endings deserve to be said out loud. The restaurant was mid-tier Italian, the kind with dim lighting, soft jazz, and water glasses that never quite get filled. They were already seated when I arrived. Wine poured, 2 glasses. A third waited for me, untouched. I didn't drink it. My mother launched first, as always. We were under pressure. Everything got chaotic with the baby. We shouldn't have gone behind your back, but it was out of love. She spoke like someone who practiced her lines. But love doesn't use forged documents. When she finished, she looked at me, eyes glassy. My father nodded, like a man offering clemency. I reached into my bag. 3 items. A USB drive. A manila folder. A laminated sheet. I placed them on the table slowly, carefully. My dad reached for the USB. I pulled it back. You won't need that, I said. I already emailed it. To your employers. And your bank. He froze. The wine glass in front of him trembled slightly. I handed my mother the folder. Inside, a notarized termination of all joint accounts, legal documents revoking her power of attorney, a formal notice ending monthly financial contributions. I looked at my sister. You're off the insurance plan. That ended last week. She blinked twice, stunned. Then tried to smile, performative, uncertain. That's okay. I'll figure something out. You will, I said, calm, certain. My brother didn't show up, so I sent his version via courier. Inside his envelope, a bill for unauthorized property use, a detailed invoice of damages, a QR code linking to a Dropbox folder titled Resources to Get Started. Inside that folder, resume templates, cover letter samples, a guide, how to apply for jobs when the free ride ends. This wasn't about vengeance. It was about disconnection. Not the dramatic kind, the permanent kind. The kind where love isn't weaponized, and silence doesn't mean surrender. They stopped calling. Not because they accepted it, but because they didn't know how to respond. The silence wasn't surrender. It was confusion. I never blocked anyone. I didn't have to. They talked about me plenty, just not to me. And not directly. But I heard everything. My cousin from Indiana, the same one who sent me the baby shower address, started forwarding things. No commentary, just data. FYI, she'd write, followed by screenshots. Sometimes audio clips. Sometimes blurry photos. Like the one of my mother, wearing her healing scarf, restocking books at the local library. She told everyone it was to stay active. But my cousin overheard her whispering behind the help desk. Blood pressure meds aren't covered anymore. She'd sold 2 handbags, the ones she used to call investments. Now she called them non-essential joy. My father traded in his car. Not out of environmental conscience. Out of necessity. The dealership confirmed it. My cousin's boyfriend works there. Said he looked tired, like a man being downsized one document at a time. The new car? A used silver sedan. One headlight flickers when turning left. Fitting. His office moved too. He's no longer in the corner suite. Now he shares a smaller room with a junior associate. My name doesn't show up on the family calendar anymore because they no longer have the calendar. I canceled the subscription. My sister? She moved in with her boyfriend's mom. Temporarily, she said. But temporary has lasted 5 months. The guest room smells like wet dog and expired shampoo. She keeps calling it transitional housing on social media. Last week, she posted, "Sometimes growth looks like falling apart first." Caption, mood. Her tuition, once paid in full by me, is now scattered across 3 payment systems. She missed one. Got locked out of her account. Cried, called the school, got put on hold, cried again. Tried again the next day. She told all this to a mutual cousin over coffee. That cousin texted me afterward. One sentence. She's learning. And my brother? He hosted the baby's first birthday party in their new apartment. I wasn't invited, of course. But one of their neighbors was. She posted pictures. No photographer this time. Just a shaky phone on a timer. Plastic tablecloths, mismatched cups, cupcakes from a clearance bin. One balloon popped mid-sentence. The Bluetooth speaker wouldn't pair. The napkin said blessed, someone had crossed out the word with a pen. No one smiled in any of the photos. They've started referring to money as tight, which is what people say when they don't want to admit it's gone. My brother signed up for a budgeting app. I know because it accidentally asked for my referral code. He never used it. That weekend, I saw the breakdown. 34% of their spending was marked miscellaneous. They renamed the family group chat. It's now called Support Circle. I'm not in it, but I still get the screenshots. Same old blue bubbles. Same old performance. Mom. Guess who made lemon bars? No replies. Dad. Forgiveness adds 5 years to your life. Seen by 2. No hearts. Sister. Posted a selfie. Caption. Growth. Background. Same rug. Same sadness. No comments. Thanksgiving came and went. No invitation. No mention. I saw a blurry photo from a mutual family friend's shared album. The turkey was burnt. One guest sat on a beach chair. The music wouldn't connect, so they played it off someone's phone. A gratitude list was left on the table, 5 blank lines. Only 2 had been filled in. Health. Hope. Not one of them wrote family. They were too busy pretending I never existed. And that was the most honest thing they'd ever done. By the time they stopped pretending I'd come back, I had already started rebuilding the floors. They were loud in some places, crooked in others. But that's the thing about noise. You don't realize how much of it isn't yours until it's gone. So I stripped everything down, ripped out what they left behind. Sanded, sealed, stained. Matte oak, warm tone not for style, but for honesty. I painted the walls next. Soft gray. Not cold, not trendy, just still. The kind of quiet that doesn't echo guilt. The living room lost 2 chairs. It gained a reading corner. The kitchen got under-cabinet lighting. The laundry closet? It became an actual room with a door that closes, shelves that fit, and space that was finally mine again. No one asked for progress photos. There were no Instagram updates. No before and after reels. And that made it easier. For the first time, I wasn't preparing a space for anyone else's needs. I wasn't designing around someone's habits, or curating a home that needed to impress relatives who only knew how to take. This time, it was just for me. No compromises. No negotiations. No theft hiding behind togetherness. And then, I met her. Where else but the hardware store? Aisle 14. Grout section. She was arguing with an employee who clearly didn't care about shades of white. I made a joke. She didn't laugh. She corrected my punchline. Hers was better. We left with the wrong grout, but each other's numbers. Our first date was takeout, on the floor. My freshly finished floor. She brought her own fork. Said she doesn't eat from plastic. I respected that. She didn't ask about my family, not at first. Not until month 4. And when she did, it wasn't a test. It was just a question. I told her the truth without names, without drama. I've been quiet, quitting my relatives. She raised an eyebrow. Did they notice? They're still performing the loss, I said. I just stopped clapping. She didn't press. She nodded. Then changed the subject to paint primers. We built slowly. Month 6, she had a drawer. Month 8, her toothbrush stayed. So did her shampoo. So did her voice. By month 10, we were engaged. By month 11, we were expecting. She told me like it was a weather forecast. It's happening, she said. Calm, steady, certain. I didn't cry. But I sat on the kitchen floor, holding the bowl she used every morning, and it felt heavier, like it knew something was changing. I didn't tell my family. There was no announcement to ruin. No seat to leave empty. They found out from someone else. My aunt sent me a 1-line text. Congratulations, I guess. No follow-up. No address request. No gift. Perfect. They didn't ask to be involved. And I didn't offer. Not out of bitterness. Just clarity. There is no room in a home built for peace. For people who only know noise. Now, I wake up in a home that holds still. The air feels different, not quiet like tension, but quiet like peace. No one slams doors. No one leaves laundry in the hallway. No one overwrites my space with their chaos and calls it love. We argue sometimes, sure about grocery lists, parking spots, whether the living room needs another lamp. But no one vanishes. No one weaponizes silence. No one rewrites the rules mid-game. Sometimes, when the baby kicks, she laughs like she didn't expect it every single time. We sit together in the nursery, just breathing. No words. No plans. No performance. And the silence doesn't hurt anymore. It holds us. There's a closet full of hand-me-downs we politely declined. A crib we built ourselves. A light on the ceiling I installed, alone, on a quiet Sunday while she napped on the couch. She woke up, looked at it, and said, "You made that feel safe." Some nights, I walk through the apartment and trace the places where old shadows used to live. The rug that used to trap dirt from my brother's boots. The wall where the decal our little nest used to peel. They're gone now. And so are the people who came with them. They haven't reached out again. No more voicemails from Mom. No more group emails titled, "Family Reconciliation." Just the slow, inevitable unraveling of people who built their identity on being needed. And then weren't. I didn't burn any bridges. I just stopped rebuilding ones they kept tearing down. And that's the thing about family. Sometimes what you're told is unconditional, has 1,000 hidden conditions. Be quiet. Be useful. Be less. They called me the responsible one. So I became responsible for my own boundaries, my own peace, my own future. The last photo I saw from the old group was from Christmas. The tree was small, crooked, the ornaments mismatched, the lighting too bright. Someone wrote, "We're still standing," in the caption. But no one looked at the camera. I didn't reply. I didn't forward it. I didn't feel anything. Because silence no longer meant exile. It meant enough. Enough giving. Enough excusing. Enough waiting for people to choose me. I had already chosen myself. One morning, she handed me our daughter, warm and wrinkled and just barely smiling in her sleep. She looked like she'd never been lied to. Like she had never heard her worth measured by usefulness. And in that moment, I realized I hadn't lost my family. I had ended an audition. Now, I live in a home I don't have to defend. And that's worth more than any deed, any title, any apology that comes too late. Silence isn't empty. It's earned. And finally, it's mine. If there's one thing I've learned, it's this. Silence is not always peace, and sacrifice is not always love. For years, I believed being the dependable one, the quiet supporter, the financial safety net was my role. I thought it earned me a place. But some families confuse generosity with weakness, and loyalty with permission to take. This story isn't about revenge. It's about boundaries and the courage to draw them later in life, even when it feels too late. To anyone older who has spent decades giving your time, your money, your emotional labor, please hear this. You are allowed to stop. You are allowed to rebuild, redefine, and reclaim peace on your own terms. Protecting your peace doesn't mean turning your back on love. It means choosing the version of love that loves you back. If this story resonated with you, if you've ever been the quiet one who finally stood up, I invite you to subscribe, leave a comment, and share your experience. You're not alone. Sometimes the bravest thing we can do is walk away quietly and never look back.